Thank God, honestly. All right, chart. Give me chart. Let's go. All right, now I
I wonder if the
have.
writers made him this insufferable on purpose so that, the player would get like a lot of joy out of causing his death
Oh,
with
absolutely.
basically every choice at the beginning.
Okay, so
All
now we
right,
get
we
the.
got both
で、
keys.
Yes.
なんで来た？
Yeah. Okay. He's gonna snap. Oh
Snap!
God. Do I
Oh
just go
no!
fucking crazy?
Yeah, time to go feral.
He's like, officer, you don't. I've had this boner for like 3 fucking days, man. Do you even know what I'm gonna do?
何でもいいじゃないですか
Oh my God.
Oh wow! Haruaki!
Oh
God
damn.
ここ
damn!
は日本だ移動の自由があるいつ何時どこにいようが僕の自由だろ
Now he sounds drunk.
Oh my God.
な
Haruaki.
んだ貴様俺いい加減こっちは死に飽きてんだ戻ろうがなんだろうが死ぬのも結構辛いんだぞ
I know I come back, but dying really hurts.
てめえこれはタコこれ
Fight the
ど
cop.
うせこのルートもダメなんだろうおい次はなんだ裸踊りでもしろってのかいい趣味だな神様
This is amazing!
I'm so glad we broke him.
I am too.
やれこれクソこれ
Oh, okay.
全て
Ah, alright.
止めさせろそんで自然な感じで休みずに入らせろうわー入りましたなんだこいつもしもしもしもし了解射殺します
Oh my God, do I just
What?
get shot in this one? Oh my God!
Well, clearly this is going to give us yet another key.
Berserk!
Holy cow.
Oh
Wow.
my God! Awesome! Amazing! Batting number. No, I don't need Hint's quarter.
We do not need him for. We know exactly what we're doing.
Oh my God. All right. I'm glad that the game just gave, like, there was no point to any of those,
Nope.
other than to get the keys to do this. Like, this literally was Groundhog Day. It was just putting Haruaki through all of this torturous shit, have him die repeatedly until he's like, well, I know what's going to happen if I do this stuff.
Yep. I'm telling you, the writers knew what they were doing. They made
Oh
this
my
guy
God.
insufferable, and and they're rewarding the player for making it through like 7 hours of story.
Yes. Okay.
よう
Yeah.
やくか。
All right. Let's skip. There we go.
What?
What? What? What? So okay. Fuck it. I guess we're drinking.
I guess so.
I stopped my bike. Well, now seems like as good a time as ever to just get completely wasted.
Yep.
Then I flipped out the kickstand and locked it in place. And after opening up the toolbox under the seat, I hid my license, ID, and business card. Anything related to me, basically, inside it. Kai Fujiyoshi was just ahead. If I came in like that, the officer would surely catch me and then chase me away. I had to find another way to convince that old man to let me stay. Oh my God, he's going to get himself arrested so he can spend the night in jail.
Holy cow.
That's
Okay.
actually kind of clever.
Yeah.
I reached into the bag of stuff I'd bought in the convenience store and took something out. It was a cup of refined sake. I quickly gulped it down. Oh my God, refined sake, isn't that like insane proof alcohol?
Yeah, I imagine it is.
Cheap or not, just chunky sake like this was plain disrespectful. No trying this at home. No trying this at home, kids. Not that kids can drink anyways. You hear that, kids? Do not go into your parents' liquor cabinets, get their refined sake, and chug it. Don't do
Yeah,
that.
specifically the refined sake. Anything else, that's fine.
Everything else is fair game. Do not. Just whatever you do, you leave that refined sake. Unfortunately, my life and fate and whatever were on the line here.
And whatever.
Next cup. The third cup. 4, 7.
Uh-huh.
First things first.
Oh my God. Oh my god, he's really gonna spend the night in the drunk tank. That's amazing.
なんだよおい兄ちゃん、酔っ払いか。見ねえ面だな。
そうっすな。そうっす
Oh
な。
my god, it would be so funny if the cop just shot him and then this was another dead end.
That would be hilarious.
酒くせ。どっから来た。こんな夜中によ。
そうっすな。
ああ、もう分か
Why
った
is
分
this
か
a
った。
drunk voice? I hate it.
I don't know. It really, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized this. This man always let me go as long as I was good for driving. Then it was best to just not talk at all, and come all drunk.
やひゃー。やひ
Oh,
ゃー。
Haruaki, I hate your drunk voice.
うるせえなバカ。近所迷惑だ。
Oh my god. I can't
We
believe that worked.
survived. We
I
made it
can't-
to Monday.
I,
Amazing.
I can't believe that worked. That's awesome. Ugh.
Now we get to go to Yasuimizu with a hangover.
Where was I? Ow, 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 ow. Oh, my head, back. I hurt all over. Tatami and a blanket? So he really let me spend the night here, just as I'd planned. The officer was actually a nice guy. Oh, that's why you needed the nice guy key.
Hmm.
Not like I couldn't tell. He was just rough and simple. And no, he wasn't bleeding like a sheep. He was just sort of giggling and saying Yahoo over again. Basically, the way to get around him was to get him to think there was nothing more to me than met the eye.
おお兄ちゃん、起きたか。
Oh, fuck.
ちょっと話聞かせてもらうぞ。
Nope, gotta go. Just jump out the window.
Give us 3 more options that each lead to another death.
All right, it was time.
要するに、金もねえ、仕事も見つからねえ、部屋は追ん出されて、女にも逃げられて。
Holy cow, that
親
is
御
a
さんも
sob
もういね
story.
え。
Wow. Well, kid, looks like you're fucked. Welcome to hell.
Yeah.
山入って死のうとして酒かっくらったが、死にきれなかったっつんだな。
Is that what we told him? Haruaki, you asshole.
Haruaki, damn.
はい。
Holy
東
shit,
京
it is what he
っつう
told
の
him.
は地獄だな。
Tokyo's hell. I couldn't help but notice that your bike is $80,000.
Right.
はい。
After I spent an hour lying about myself, the officer looked at me with a sympathetic expression.
まあ、そんなチャラチャラした格好とかせずに、もっと真面目にすりゃよかったのかもしれねえかな。
Time to lecture me.
はい。反省してます。
Basically, I didn't talk unless prompted, nor did I argue with him. This guy was definitely good-natured, but he was also rough around the edges, chatty, and a bit preachy. In this case, I just kind of let him set the pace. I was about to ask him something outrageous, after all. I needed to be completely on board with his story. The front door was made of glass, and when people passed me on the farm road in front, they all gave me funny looks. It was early morning, but the people of Kamafujiyoshi were already aware of and concerned about my presence, an outsider.
まあ、死ぬのは良くないわな。
No, it's not. I've done it like 10 times. Each one sucks.
はい。
Mm-hmm.
酔ってても、怖くて。
あんまそんな感じに見えなかったけどよ。
死ぬほど怖いと、笑うしかないんですね。
That's true.
そんなもんかもしれんな。そんで、これから
The
は
way
どうす
he
んだ。
talks, what's that Japanese middle schooler trope? Is it chunibyo?
I don't know.
It's like that thing that it's like a normal middle schooler will like, oh, but I have these special powers. It's almost like they go through their goth phase and everything's ridiculous. I think it's called
Okay.
chunibyo. It's really funny, and that's what it
Ah.
sounds like what he's talking about like right now.
Okay. I love it.
I paused to make it seem like I was hesitating.
やり直したいです。でも、もう行くところが。
Oh my god.
I faked some tears and quivered as I spoke.
宮崎に嫁の実家があっからよ。小さい工場だが。
Actually, I'm looking for this random, completely specific town.
This cop is too good for this world.
He is. Huh?
奥さん、九州の方なんですか？
おうよ。我慢強いいい女だ。
She's got to deal with me, and look at me. My face could cut glass.
そりゃまたどういうご縁で。
それがよ、俺がまだ20歳の頃。
Time to get a long story about... And so he began his grandiose, hour-long talk about his youthful romance. The words karma and a curse rebound came to mind. Apparently, he wasn't Fujiyoshi inhabitant at the start. He and his wife were only living here in the sticks because he was the local officer. It was then that said wife, a plump and pleasant woman, came out and served us tea, so they really were living here. Eventually, they got so lovey-dovey it was hard for me to talk. I instead considered what to do next. I love this cop and his wife.
I do too. I love that, like, I'm guessing he's in his 40s just from the way they've drawn his face, so
Yeah.
I just love that they're still lovey-dovey after 20 years.
Yes. I mean, this made it really hard for me to say I wanted to make a fresh start here in Fujiyoshi. Even his wife suggested I went to work for her family back in Kyushu. Such nice people, exactly the type that get swindled. I hope a choice is just go
それ
work
も
in
いいんですけ
Kyushu.
ど、ここ、いいですね。自然がいっぱいあって、なんか落ち着くっていうか。
あら、不便なだけよ。それにうちの周りも山だらけだし。
なんとなく、予感っていうか、ここに引き寄せられてきた気がするんです。ここに出会いがあるかみたいな。
そうね、そうね。
this perfect, well-meaning couple is just not getting his stupid, vague hints. I love it.
Yep.
Well, you live here now. You've just been adopted by the officer and his wife. Damn, she was a tough one.
こんな優しくされたの初めてですよ。
Now that I believe.
まあまあ、泣かないで。
僕、お二人に恩返ししたいです。この辺で働き口とかないでしょうか？
See, these are decent people, so they don't want this guy to get trapped here.
Yeah. I got to the heart of the matter, but the guy didn't look enthusiastic. His wife left the room, leaving behind the two of us in an awkward silence.
やめた方がいいぞ。
Yeah. Like, he's seriously looking out for you, buddy.
Yeah.
いや、こんな村、老人ばっかだし、特産物もねえしな。まあ、手伝いくらいならあるかもしれねえが。
それで構いません。お金はいりません。
そうは言っても、ちょっと行けば町があるからよ。
ここで働きたいんです。
いや、なんだ？ちょっとばかり、ここの連中は変
We're
わ
all
ってっからな。
werewolves, you see. He went and said it. Listening to his story had made me guess that he wasn't under Fujiyoshi's sway to the degree others were. They'd lived here for 20 years, but in some small ways, they were still outsiders. The bitterness in his expression was more than enough to give me that
変わ
impression.
ってる？
ああ、いや、なんでもねえ。まあ、悪いことは言わん。なんか、別の方法を。
Suddenly, I heard a sound coming from the outside. It was a town broadcast. Some speakers somewhere in the village were playing some unclear music. And it's the song! The song from about the Guardians.
Yeah. Yeah.
ああ、驚いたか。7時の合図だ。
Yeah, I'd heard this music back in Yasuimizu. It was both a children's song and a playground singing game. Chiamin said it was called A Prayer to Shinai. So it was a song revering Great Lord Shinai? But from what I remembered, it was about the Feast of the Yomi Purge.
珍しい曲ですね。
なんつったかな。 この村に昔からある曲なんだってよ。
So the village as a whole had inherited it. There wasn't anything strange about that, really. Even if its roots were in a cruel legend, the passage of time would eventually erode said legend's significance. Just introduce something like a wolf bullying festival, and it would be nothing more than a decent song to serve as a warning alarm for the villagers. But that was only true if the legend's meaning had been forgotten. What happened next was shocking, even to someone who had their suspicions about the nature of this place. One by one, people started coming out of their homes, forming a crowd. The road before the office was full of people traveling from right to left. Where had this many people come from? I couldn't get any good looks at their expressions, but they were all hanging their heads despondently. Were they just tired?
Oh,
No.
Where's everybody going? Bingo?
Is it final bingo? I want to work at the bingo hall.
水場に向かってんだ。
The watering hole?
水場？
飯屋のことよ。ここの連中はみんな3食飯
Oh,
屋で
that
食う
sounds
か
like
ら
a cult.
Well, I mean, that's how it was set up in Yasuimizu.
Yeah, but they probably got that from here.
Yeah. Okay.
That was it.
変わってますね。
ああ。なんでも昔、山を焼くとかで火を使っちゃならんという話があって、それに隠れて火を焚いたのが水場らしい。だから今でも、自宅では皆飯を作らんで、水場で飯を食う。そんで、樋口んところが皆の胃袋を握って、
Isn't Higuchi the Kaori's husband's family?
I mean, her last name was Oribe.
I think that was but I remember them saying that the reason they were sent down to Yasuimizu is because of something happening with the Higuchi family.
Okay.
And it would make sense that because if Kaori is doing the same, dining hall tradition down in Yasuimizu, if it's the meal times are dictated by the Higuchi, then that's something that she would have known.
Sure, yeah.
うちがどうかしましたか?
Whoa, who's this?
Who's this? He also has no eyes.
The door suddenly opened up and I heard a soft voice I didn't recognize. Surprised, the officer and I turned around. It was a man in a suit, average build, his face was round, and he looked a bit shy of middle-aged.
なんでもねえですよ。
Oh!
樋口さん。
It's that guy.
And it turned out he was a member of one of the four head families here, the Higuchi. I was right. Okay, that was the family Kaori Oribe had married into, but when her husband, the family's head, died, she was sent to Yasuimizu. Oh, he was the head.
Aunt, maybe we get to find out how her husband died.
Oh my god, are we gonna find out about her dead husband?
We get to find out how he fucked around and found out.
That means this man was related to Yasunaga-kun and Yoshitsugu-kun. I couldn't see a resemblance. I was definitely intrigued, though. I am too.
Yeah.
Fujiyoshi had a tradition of using the watering hole to feed themselves, and if the Higuchi family was in charge of it, that gave them an influential position. People needed food to stay alive, and if they didn't have any way to cook, they wouldn't even consider making food for themselves. I can only imagine the power a family could have if it was in charge of all the local food and drink. Kaori Oribe-san was in charge of a dining hall, too. Her relation to the Higuchi probably had something to do with that. Perhaps she'd been sent there to fill that role. But if that was the case, the idea that Yasuimizu had been completely abandoned wasn't true at all. It'd mean that Kami Fujiyoshi was actually controlling what went on there.
みんなが噂していましたよ。こちらは?
ああ、臭いしっちゅうもんです。何やらいろいろ苦労して、死のうってここいらまで流れてきたと。
へえ。それはさぞご苦労されたのでしょ
う。Okay. Because I just had a thought.
Uh-huh.
So one of the things that Chiemi made sure of that we didn't do was eat the food.
Yes.
What it sounds like is the Higuchi family is in charge of all the food in Kami Fujiyoshi and Yasuimizu. And
Yes.
so it seems like whatever they're eating is turning them into Yomibito.
Possibly.
Or it's doing something to them, and when they get sent down to Yasuimizu, those like they get turned into Yomibito.
Maybe.
It seems they're making a big deal about the food.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So, Higuchi gave me a genuinely sympathetic
い
smile.
え、それにしても、ちょっとどうかしていました。皆さんにご迷惑をかけてしまって。
まあ、そりゃいいが。
なるほど。申し遅れましたが、樋口昌司と申します。藤吉村
He
の、
looks creepy.
まあ、雑
I
用
hope
みたい
we
なことをして
immediately
ます
start
よ。
calling him Shoji-san.
Yeah.
Because we have no
どうも
respect.
久石春明です。
ハイカラな方ですね。イケメンですね。
No.
No.
Incorrect.
いや、そんな。
どんな話だったのか伺ってもよろしいです？
うちはこれから飯にするんで、後にしてもらえねえですかね。
He's trying to protect me because I was just talking
Yeah.
about looking for odd jobs.
そうか。いつもご自宅で炊事をされてるんでしたね。
Ah.
そうだ。
Yeah, this definitely the Higuchis are definitely doing something with the food.
Yep.
久石さんはご朝食まだでしょ？なんならこれから一緒にいかがです？うちの実家の飯屋でね、おごりますから。ついでに差し支えなければ、いろいろお話でも聞けたらと。何？これでも一応、世話役みたいなこともしておりまして。
Also, it's kind of interesting to me that he's wearing a suit in the middle of nowhere.
Yes, but other cranky guy that we didn't like also wore like Western style clothing. He had that waistcoat and that tie.
Okay, maybe, yeah.
藤吉村
And
で
he's
起
like
き
a
て
head
ることは
family guy
何だっ
too.
て聞いておきたいたちなもんで。ええ。
I don't like this at all. He looked gentle and easy to get along with, but also like someone I had to watch my step around. He just walked right up to the local police officer and asked him for information like it was a casual request. It was clear who was in charge here. I gave the officer a glance out of the corner of my eye, but he'd stopped talking. I felt like the conversation I had with him could have led me to sharing breakfast with him and his wife. But he hadn't said anything about Shoji Higuchi inviting me. It was like he was telling me to accept it. Or perhaps there was just no point in trying to
大
refuse.
丈夫ですか？
Even so, I did ask for his
食
permission.
ったら、一応戻してもらってもいいですかね。
But the officer didn't even want to talk to me anymore.
まだ聞きたいこともありますんでね。
Perhaps Fujiyoshi was a place where in his presence you couldn't even have a conversation without him involved.
ええ、ええ。もちろんですよ。
Anyway, it was decided. The sky was clear. The eatery was split into several buildings around the village. From what Higuchi had told me, Fujiyoshi had a population of about 1,000 people. It was pretty small for an autonomous area, but it was still enough to make eating in one building impossible. We went into one of them. It was crowded, but upon seeing us, the villagers stepped aside as if all this was planned. Apparently, everyone here did what they could to accommodate Higuchi. Also, everyone was staring at me like I was an alien or something, but it felt like Higuchi's presence discouraged them from staring too long. That attitude aside, everyone here looked pretty normal. The usual Japanese people, the lethargy from before was nowhere to be seen. Maybe they just looked lethargic because it was early morning. Most looked like they were farmers, but I could also see some students in uniforms bearing the same designs as the ones worn by the students in Yasuimizu. The building itself was an aged wooden structure, but it was a whole lot bigger than the one in Yasuimizu, and looked way sturdier too. The interior wasn't too pretty, but it was spacious. You grabbed a tray right after walking in, then got tea and rice bowls or whatever from the ladies in aprons. It felt like a high school cafeteria, but you couldn't choose what you wanted. You could refuse what you didn't want, though.
ああ、こちら、僕が面倒を見るから。
He spoke to the elderly women one after another and made them stop staring at me with suspicion. Then we took our trays and, without paying anything, apparently they had something like union dues for that, how effective, walked away. Parting the crowd, we searched for a place to sit
ちょ
down.
っと手狭ですが、 まあしっかり食ってください。
I really appreciated getting to eat a normal meal. Lots of rice, miso soup, the one with vegetables and boiled beans. That sounds good.
Yum.
I thought it was vegetarian at first, but then felt something meaty inside.
獅子ですよ。不慣れでしょうが、そんなに癖はないでしょ
獅子、イノシシですか？
ああ、いえ。この辺では鹿やらイノシシやら肉は全部まとめて獅子です。
そういえば、昔は肉と
Deer,
書いて
boar,
獅子と
human.
読ま
It's
せ
all
てたみ
shishi
たいです
here.
ね。
よくご存知ですね。この辺じゃ昔から狩猟が盛んで、今でもこうして取れたらちょっとずつみんなで分け合うんですよ。
The fact that it's just like generic meat or game meat kind of concerns me.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought I'd ever eat wild game in some communal eatery, lucky me. Though the taste was kind of bland overall.
Not gamey.
But I could detect some soy sauce on the vegetables, while the boiled beans were kind of sweet. The soup stock, too, made me think they used the minimal amounts of flavoring. Okay. Now, boar is incredibly gamey meat.
Yep, so is venison.
I would say boar and venison is very gamey. I mean, they're flavorful, but gamey.
But they're very distinct, yeah.
Yes.
And he is saying this is flavorless. Like, he does not, there's like not a lot of flavor to it.
Yeah. And apparently, according to Hillary in chat, human tastes like pork.
Yes, it does. There's
did not know
a...
that.
Yeah, apparently. In World of Horror, which maybe is another game we should play.
Oh, yes. I do want to play that.
There's an item that you can pick up. It's called long pork. I forget the Japanese, but basically it's human meat.
Oh my god. Long pork.
And that's long pork, yeah. That's what they call it.
The miso soup didn't really seem like miso soup. It was more like a stew, probably because shishi was the only thing they used for the stock. Oh no.
So it's not actually miso soup. Okay.
It's me dude soup. I tasted more of it and realized that the overboiled meat still had a sort of beastly texture and smell about it. I couldn't call it good, but it was a unique local meal not everyone had the chance to eat. I was grateful for the experience. You will not be. The eatery was still crowded as the people came and went, but Higuchi didn't seem bothered as we talked. I kept up with him during the conversation, repeating the same lies I told to the officer, and making sure to look as much a poor, unfortunate soul as I could. He smiled all the way through, even as he interjected now and again. I felt like he was at least 100 times craftier than the officer, and I wondered if it was my inner contrarian speaking. After that, Higuchi and I returned to the officer's post, but...
夫妻子さんには藤吉に移住してもらってはいかがでしょうね。
It was what I'd wanted to hear, but I couldn't let it show on my face. While the officer was against it, he didn't intend to argue too strongly. He and Higuchi discussed some things, but it seemed like Higuchi already knew how he'd treat me, and it didn't look like the officer's take mattered to him. After a few exchanges, the officer caved, and it was my turn to speak.
夫妻子さんもそれでいいですね。
Now that was a smile I couldn't say no to, even if I wanted to.
Yikes.
Yikes. Well, it really did seem like the heads of Kami Fujiyoshi were a twisted bunch.
Well, we knew that
渡り
already.
に船です。
Yeah.
すぐ住んでもらえそうなのが、とりあえずはちょっと離れた場所
Oh,
になっ
he's
ちゃい
sending
ま
me
すが
straight
ね。
down to Yasuimizu.
Wow. Well, that's what we wanted.
Was he serious?
構いませんよ。どういうところです？
まあまあ、追って説明しますよ。ああ、そういえばそっちに行く人たちがいたような気がするな。
Those two, huh?
一緒に行ってもらいましょ
Oh, okay.
There was no mistaking it. He smiled like he was harmless while forcing me into the settlement for the ostracized.
その手続きとかは？
う。転入転出とかはとりあえず後回しでなんとかしましょう。東京には知り合いがいますから、代理でなんとかなるでしょう。とにもかくにも、まずは住むところですね。 駐在所にずっと止めてもらうのじゃ迷惑でしょうからね。私はそっち方面に行く人たちにちょっと話を通してきますよ。
Yeah, it's the journalists.
ああ、下の連中にも一報しなきゃな。ちょっとバタバタしそうだけど、昼までにはどうにかなるでしょう。それじゃあ、一旦ここで。
He one-sidedly ended the conversation and left the post.
いい人ですね。
No.
On the surface, anyway.
まあ、
Ooh, officer knows what's going on here. The officer understood the situation and didn't like it, but couldn't go against one of the heads. This is probably why Chiamid said we couldn't trust the police. In Fujiyoshi, even government institutions were only a secondary authority.
Yeah.
Anyway, what can I make of this? I did actually expect to be sent to Yasuimizu. The people here had no interest in harboring outsiders. We weren't welcome. Or maybe they wanted to avoid the initial trouble caused by my immigration by making me live with the ostracized until I got used to the village. Whatever the case, this wasn't something I had a say in, which made it seem really bad. That was probably why the officer was so against it. I could understand that. Higuchi, on the other hand, seemed a bit heavy-handed with all this.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I could understand him wanting to set me up with a place quickly. But as someone who knew about the feast, I couldn't help but be suspicious of the timing. The mist would come this evening. And he wanted to give Yasuimizu a new inhabitant until then. Did Higuchi, ahead of Kamafujiyoshi, understand what that meant?
ちなみに読んだことない？宝生9個の記事。
すみません。
I went through a highly familiar exchange and finished my introduction to Hisako Mamiya a second time.
どうも、お世話になります。
どうも。
I love this guy.
He's great.
He was as hard to deal with as always. Wow,
Bro,
not
you knew
hard.
him for like 5 minutes.
I know. Higuchi worked fast, thorough too. He'd gotten back to me before noon, and before I knew it, I was greeting the ones who'd lead me to my place. Just as I'd expected, they were the journalists.
樋口さんはもう安水の方に連絡されたってことらしいけど、久石さんはもう大丈夫なのかしら？
ええ。むしろそちらは大丈夫ですか？
I'm more worried about you. You're gonna die tonight.
もちろん、お昼に間に合うならお腹空かせて苦しまなくていいしね。
なるほど。先方の都合でもっと遅く訪問される予定だったんですね。
そうそう。向こうの人たちの昼食時を回避した方がいいって話でね。こっちとしては皆さんの普通の食事風景を取材したいから、その点でもラッキーってとこかしら。
Oh, so this probably also had something to do with the people of Fujiyoshi not wanting to show their daily lives to outsiders. They could have just refused them completely, though. Did the journalists have connections that made them impossible to refuse, or did they want to show what a developed settlement it was? Or maybe they had no intention of letting them go.
Yeah, it's that last one.
Yeah, unlikely. If they killed anyone from Yasuimizu, or some nobody like me, they could easily conceal it due to how isolated the location was. But the two journalists had come here to make an article. If something were to happen to them here, it'd be certain to draw unwanted attention to the village. Not true. Higuchi just said he had a friend in Tokyo who's probably is what he probably takes care of all this shit.
Yeah, makes that shit disappear.
Yep. On the other hand, if Kami Fujiyoshi's people knew that the feast was near, they probably wouldn't have allowed them here.
そんなわけでもう出ちゃおうかと思いますけど、橋本さんどうです？
いいと思
Yeah. Whoa, he was slow, but he actually communicated with someone. That was rare.
それじゃあ、お手数ですがよろしくお願いします。
う。いえいえ。
That was the first exchange I shared with him, in this life anyway.
もちろん。じゃあ乗って乗って。
Oh, they're really pleasant people.
Yeah.
Man.
The van started slowly traveling down the thin paved road between the farms. Come to think of it, May was rice planting season. The field had water all over it and didn't display a single weed. It was full of people planting rice seedlings by hand.
機械でやってないんですね。
そのようね。ここの人たちはみんなあんまり新しいものは好きじゃないみたい。
コンバインやらトラクターやらがそんなに新しいとも思わないですが、逆によく手作業で回りますね。
I mean, people have been doing it like this for literally centuries.
Yep.
回ってないと思うわ。だから今はメーカーの人たちが中心になって重機を導入しようとはしてるらしいけど、
なるほど。樋口さんとかです。
農業改革の方は身車さんという方たちが担当しているって聞いたわ。
なるほど。ちゃんとお金はあるんだ。
そうみたいね。どういうからくりかはわからないけど。
からくりって？
いや、まあそのね、基本的に外からの収入が出稼ぎのみで、高齢化で人が減ってる産地の町村にしてはメーカーさんはお金持ってるなって。
そうなんですか？
ええ、身車さんちとっても大きかったわよ。大きな会社も止まってたし。
I'm hearing a lot of past tense. Yeah, even if it was something that could easily be explained, it was still something to keep in mind.
はい。
The strange nickname Hashimoto-san used surprised me, but Mamiya-san herself didn't seem
あん
bothered.
まり憶測は良くないね。
ですけど。
記者魂が騒ぐかい？
そんな偉いもんじゃないですけど。
今回はこのまま流すのがいいよ。
それは名写真家の勘です。
どうかな。
I like these two.
わかりました。専門
Yeah, they're
外
pretty
ですしね。
great.
というわけで、さっきのは忘れて。
I don't think I will.
Nope. Nope.
ちなみに、あなたはこっちへ移住するって聞いたけど、
そうなりました。
これから行く場所については聞いてる？
聞いてませんけど、だいたい想像はつきますね。
My words made her give me a strange
と
look.
いうと？
多分あんまり居住条件が良くないところでしょう。こっちのメインの集落とは切り離された感じの。
なんでそう思うの？
みんな僕の処遇について奥歯に物が挟まったような物言いですし、樋口さんがただの親切な人ってより後ろめたいことを平然とできるような人に見えたからですか
That is
ね。
a very apt description. Someone who
Yep.
could easily shrug off any guilt his actions would cause him.
そうか。
僕にはお構いなく、僕はそれでもここに住めるなら満足なんです。
余計なお世話かもしれないけど、本当にかなり偏僻なところよ。田舎への憧れだけじゃ耐えられないかも。
大丈夫ですよ。死ぬのに比べたらどんなところでも天国です。って変な言い回しですが。
Yeah, it sounds really weird. What an awkward laugh. Apparently they've been told I'd almost committed suicide.
というわけで一応聞いておきたいんですが、
特別な地区。
キューちゃん。
She tried choosing her words carefully, but that made it sound worse than just a place for the ostracized. Hashimoto-shi seemed to be warning her, but she continued talking anyway.
私もまだわからないけど、意図的にその理不尽な境遇に置かれた人たちが住まわされてて、上藤吉、この辺りの人たちからはあまりよく言われてない。その場所も人もね。
情報は軽々に漏らしちゃダメ。
相手を選んでます。何も知らされずに住まわされる人が本来知ってしかるべき公正な情報提供ですよ。
それでも彼に事前に言っておくべきだね。
そうですね。すみません。久石さん、これオフレコで。
ええ、向こうの人にも
オフレコで。
その上で大丈夫？考え直すなら今日ここを帰るときに一緒に。橋本さんどうでしょうか？
彼が望むなら考える。
久石さん、一緒に出ていく気は？
These two had an interesting relationship. Mamiya-san did all the talking, but Hashimoto-san seemed to outrank her. Hell, though he didn't speak much, everything he said was really well constructed, made sense, so to speak. While Mamiya-san often became overly excited, Hashimoto-san was strangely stable, and not just in terms of appearance. Wait, this is no time to scrutinize my traveling companions.
いいんです。
Yeah, she just asked you a
もう町には帰
question.
る気はないですから。でもお気遣いはありがとうございます。
でも
間宮さんは多分都会人と地方人って視点で気遣ってくれてるんだと思いますけど、僕も十分うさんくさい
You
です
don't
か
know
ら
how
ね。
many people I've killed.
何かしら便
Mostly
宜を図
myself.
ってくれただけで十分にありがたいと思うんですよ。
そうなら何も言わないわ。
おさいし、春明くんだっけ？
なんでしょ
行き詰まりそうな人には見えないけどな。
Huh.
う。ヘラヘ
You know,
ラしてる
something
か
I
らよく
really
そう
do
言われ
like
ます。
about this game is how well developed each of the characters are.
Yeah.
I'm really
So,
delighted that they gave us more
失礼
scenes
し
with
た
these
ね。
two.
Yeah, because they were killed off so early in the first loop that we didn't really get a sense for them.
Yeah, but also now I'm
中
sad
学の
because
時の
they're
同級
killed
生が
off.
一人
Yeah.
自殺してるんですけど、いっつも能天気でみんなまさか彼だけはって思いましたよ。
そういうものかもね。
Hmm.
I might have said too much. Recalling the scene at the officer's post, I tried to get back into the character of the poor suicidal man. No, there has to be a way to save them. I mean, probably. It seems like that's what you need to do. You need to Groundhog Day your way to victory. The van
We
slowly
are
ambled
Roomba-san,
onward.
bumping
Yeah.
around until we bumble into the solution.
We approached a slightly more open space. It seemed to be the center of the village, and it looked like there were small shops there. But as we went on, it started to become even more desolate, blah, and you could see more and more trees growing between the buildings. If that was where Kami Fujiyoshi ended, it was only about 3 kilometers across. If it was about 10 square kilometers in size, it had 100 people for every one of them. The stones I'd seen back at Yasuimizu were nowhere in sight. Apparently, they really were Yasuimizu exclusive. I could see a larger building nearby, and Mamiya-san told me it was the branch school from some nearby town. All students in Fujiyoshi must get their education there before moving on to help in the fields. The smarter ones left to work outside the village upon graduating high school. Those who went from here to college were rare, meaning that at least relative to other locals, Chiemi was a prodigy. The students from Yasuimizu should have been in school this time of day. Once we passed the last residence, we entered on an area mostly untouched by human hand. The road led us into the overgrown
こ
mountains.
れは
There were large stones on each side of the road.
象徴的でしょ、鳥居みたい。
鳥居ですか？
ええ、神の使いたる鳥の宿り木、もしくは聖域へと至る結界の入り口。富士吉では山岳信仰があるみたいね。
ああ、神内明神。
知ってるの？
Crap.
Oops.
樋口さんから軽く聞いたんです。
でもこの村の外ではあんまり聞かないのよね。この山が特別だって話。神内っていう神格も聞いたことないし。字面からすると猿関係なのかな。でも神を猿に振り分けるのは単に暦と方角の話よね。
A monkey god?
Wasn't the crest of the Higuchi family the monkey guardian?
I don't remember which one was which.
I'm pretty sure, because remember, he was in the dining hall, he had that cup that had the crest on it, and if I remember correctly, that was the monkey?
Possibly, yeah, because Rikako was the spider, we know that for sure.
She had the medallion of the spider.
Yeah, that's right, she had the spider medallion.
Right, so Uematsu, their clan is probably the spider. Yeah, interesting. Monkey god.
間宮さんってフードライターじゃなかったんです？
あ、失礼。もともとはオカルトライターをやってたの。全然食べてけなくてすぐ転校したけどね。
Man, that sucks when your passions don't pay the bills.
I know. She looked like your typical neat and fashionable career woman, so this was really unexpected.
そうなんですか。面白そうですけど。
今の時代、うさんくさい情報を読みたい人はみんなネットを見るからね。
I would absolutely read news articles on this shit.
紙に書かれた怪奇情報はみんな嘘で、本当の怪奇情報はネット。そんな住み分けになっちゃったみたい。
Is
残
it?
ったわずかなパイはみんな重鎮の先生方に取られちゃうからね。 新人にはきつい世界だったかな。
Ah, okay, that makes more
Okay,
sense.
yeah, that does make more sense. Now that she'd mentioned it, I hadn't seen as many magazines on the occult and the supernatural these days. No idea if that was a good thing, though. It's not. It's a bad thing.
It's not.
I
Yeah.
want the occult. The car passed a large boulder.
道が悪くなるから気をつけて。
あ、はい。
The moment he said that, the car jumped, scaring the crap out of me. If those stones were the mountain's boundary, we were now on Great Lord Shinai's turf. Beyond it, we'd find Yasuimizu and Sadanaga. The entrance to Yomi was beyond the sacred ground. This religion just kept getting weirder and weirder. Eventually, the pavement ended and we were on a gravel road. The grove of trees became a dark forest. It was cloudy, so there wasn't much light to begin with, which only made this place extra creepy. I composed myself after all. After all, the real creepiness was at the end of this road. We weren't saying a word anymore, and I thought about mundane stuff like the convenience of cars. We went down on the side of the mountain for about 20 minutes and eventually made it through God's narrow road. That sounds like dirty. God's narrow road.
God's narrow road.
Beyond the dense forest, there was a relatively open space. We'd arrived at the entrance I'd passed when Haruchan escaped the settlement, and I searched for her. There were the same two large stones, and they did a great job telling me that this was some sort of boundary.
もうすぐね。
I felt like I heard a hint of nervousness in her tone. Were we about to enter a strange realm, or were we already there? There's no point thinking about it now. We just passed the gate and... Oh, God!
There she is.
In the middle of the road. She was... I stared careful not to lose sight of her. Our eyes met. A mysterious red stare, white hair trailing behind her. She looked at the van as we passed. And she fell. Oh!
岩で後頭部を強打しもだえ苦しんでいる。すみません、止めてください。
Oh my god. Did Rikako just try and look mysterious and then beef it?
I love her.
Sudden as it was, Hashimotoshi stopped the van, jumped out, and ran to her.
大丈夫ですか?
I feel like it really fits the personality that they gave us of her when she was like in chibi form, giving us the introduction to the game.
Yeah.
Like that was the real Rikako, and
Yeah,
we
like
didn't really get a good sense of her in game.
She was like trying to act all mysterious, and then the one time we called her by her given name, she started to freak out.
Yep.
She was still writhing on the ground with her hands on her head. There was no trace of the divinity and mystery from last time, or from just a moment ago.
She is absolutely trying to act super cool and mysterious, but she's so clumsy. I love her.
She's beefing it. I love it.
でしょうね。
どなた？
通りすがりのものです。
私は誰？
What?
ちょっと待て。
一度行ってみたくて。
ボケをおかましになる余裕が終わりで。
あまりの痛みに取り乱しました。
The girl, or rather woman, since she was older than me, became red as a tomato right before my eyes. Rikako Uematsu. Was she an albino? Her skin and hair were pale while her eyes were blood red. Her unusual appearance and manner of speech were exactly as I remembered. But man, where did this playfulness come from? Well, I hadn't spoken to her much last time, so maybe I didn't know her as well as I thought I did.
Buddy, you talked to her for like 5 minutes.
And then she tried to kill you.
Yep.
痛いのは平気な証拠と、ありし日の母は申しておりました。
いや、それは場合によりけりで、失礼。
Slightly hesitant, I reached out for her head, gently touched it, and examined the damage.
ああ、ちょっと血が出てますね。コブもできそう。
I really love the idea of her trying to look mysterious while wandering through a field and just eating shit.
Yep. Wearing those clothes.
Yep.
いえ、常識の範囲の応急手当ですが、とりあえず見る限りでは大怪我じゃなさそうですが、 気分が悪いですか？
いえ、なんだか髪を触られる
Oh
と
God.
ゾワゾワと言いますか。
This woman has a collection of romance manga. I am convinced.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
悪い気持ちではないのですが、なんだか妙な
She's looking at Haruaki through that like extreme shoujo filter where he's like all sparkly and has like really angular features.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Was the skin on her head sensitive or something?
いきなり第一村人とスキンシップとは不採しか
何をおっしゃる、うさぎさん。
Oh, Mamiya-san.
Holy
Boner
shit!
san. Oh God.
茶髪の男が上松様を手
Terrifying.
ごめにしよる。
Jesus Christ! Out of nowhere came the old lady.
濡れ衣ですよ。というか、あと、おばあさん、その上松様がそこで間抜けに滑って頭にお怪我を。
Oh my God.
松様、この馬の骨にどんなハレンチな真似をされなすったか。なんとかわいそう。なんと
I'm so glad we decided to stick with it. I think we're just getting to the good shit now.
I know. She wasn't listening at all. Feeling a bit stupid for worrying so much about her, I explained what happened and cleared up the misunderstanding.
ご迷惑をおかけしまして。
Oh my god.
誤解を受ける方
Old
が
lady in my
悪いのよ。
face.
あはは、すみません。
上松様、とりあえずお家で横になっとるのがええ。
山脇さん、ご心配なさらず。
今ちょうど野里様が休みずに来とられますからね。今呼びますから。
下まで送りましょ
お願いしようか。
What was Rikako doing out here, like in the middle of the field?
What was Granny doing out here in the middle of the field?
Okay, fair. Now this is unusual. She hated outsiders, but she couldn't say no to Hashimoto-san's presence.
上松さんですっけ。病院とか行かなくて大丈夫です？
お医者様がいらっしゃるので。
We do?
We do?
そうならいいけど。手を貸すわ。乗れる？
Who the fuck is the doctor?
お手数を
Yeah,
お
that's a good
かけし
question.
ます。
妻子くん悪いけど後ろね。
It was full of equipment,
歩
though.
きますよ。
やめなさい。
I'd been talking nonchalantly, but her response was a stern one. Well, it was true I could have caused some serious trouble if I arrived completely alone. I knew this from my experience arriving via Satanaga. Also, I wasn't supposed to be familiar with the area. I had to avoid looking suspicious.
本当にすみません。
いえいえ、気になさらずに。
いえ、上松理香子と申します。回るに末で上松、すももの花で理香子です。
そういえば、まともに自己紹介もしてませんでしたね。夫妻師春明です。厨房の房に石器の石、陽明学の陽明で春明と読みます。
What?
That's completely different than what he said before.
Yeah.
夫妻師春明様。
I felt like she didn't get it at all. I
I
didn't
must have
get it,
been
though.
making a joke. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't get it. That's fine.
Anyway, thanks to that, I became an inhabitant of the back seat and a fellow passenger alongside Rikako Uematsu. For a brief moment, anyway, we didn't speak much. The only noteworthy thing was the strange smell of dried aromatic wood she'd brought along. Besides that, I was just struggling to keep my seat as we jostled down the bumpy road. Leaving a trail on the unpaved road, we arrived and drove through Yasuimizu. We passed the front of the Nosato mansion, then the construction site. Tai-san's house, probably. Until finally we arrived at the plaza. By the time we got there, Uematsu-san seemed to be in perfect health and apologized profusely for the trouble she'd caused, though it'd be best if she took care of the wound on her head. Mamiya-san and I went alongside her and took her to the house she was living in. It was the same place which she'd lost her mind and the rest of us had barricaded her in.
じゃあ念のため
Oh,
野里
Nosato's the
様を
doctor.
待ちます。
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
お大事にね。
はい。負債師様もこのご恩はきっと。
I promise not to try and kill you this time.
いやいや、お
Maybe.
気になさらず。
めえ。
Bah.
うお
I'd completely forgotten about Uematsu-san's
あ
extra.
ら、どこの子？
昨日会いませんでしたか。おとといYasuimizuに迷い込んだ子です。
あら、上富士吉から？それじゃあ今日連れて行きますよ。
いえ、
あ、とりあえず他の人に事情を聞きません？リカ子さんは休まないと。
Oh, he called her Rika.
There it is.
確かね。それじゃあ植松さん、失礼するわ。この子はいいのかしら。
メイコ。
Meh. Uematsu-san called to Meiko and brought her inside. A stronger smell began wafting from the building. Maybe they were burning incense.
かわいいわよね、彼女。
ですね。
しかも、あの風貌にあの装束。神秘的だわ。
装束？
気づかない？形は巫女服っぽいけど、墨染めなとこは仏門っぽい。明らかに宗教的な意味がある格好。こんな偏僻な場所に独自の信仰があるなんて。胸が
This
騒ぐ
woman
わ。
is so full of insight. I'm so grateful for her.
I know.
お仕事熱心なのは結構ですが、少々よその事情に立ち入りすぎじゃありませ
And
んか
then
ね。
there's this asshole.
Not grateful for him.
Man, everyone seemed to just appear out of nowhere this time.
野里さん、すみません。失礼しました。植松さんの手当てで？
Mami-san gave a confident, journalistic smile and spoke to Kiyonosuke no Satoshi.
ええ、分かっているなら道を譲ってもらえると幸いですがね。こちら見慣れん方ですな。
樋口さんの紹介で今度こちらに住むことになった負債師春明さんですって。
え？
どうも、お世話になります。
藤吉村のではないね。
はい、いろいろありまして東京から来ました。
Things happened.
よくわからんこと。しかしまあ気の毒なことだ。では私はこれで。リカ子さん、失礼。
Sympathy, huh? As condescending as always.
Man, that was actually unexpectedly kind of him.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen him far worse.
Yep.
After parting ways with him, we returned to the plaza. Hashimoto-san was taking photos of a small flower nearby. I can imagine that someone told him to not take photos of the houses. We were the only ones here, and I couldn't hear anything but the wind. It was strangely quiet.
相変わらず。
She fell silent before finishing her derisive comment. Wise move. Wouldn't be good to finish that comment by comparing the place to a ghost town.
じゃあ行こうか。食堂なんだよね、話が言ってるのって。
ええ。
Despite having next to nothing to do with me, Mami-san was helping me out a lot. Then again, she was heading there too.
まあ、お待ちしてました。負債師さんでしたっけ。それに宝生さん、橋本さん。
どうも。
どうもどうも。
It took a lot to keep myself from saying hello, hello, hello.
樋口
どう
さんから
もどうもどうも。
こちらをご案内いただいてまいりました。よろしくお願いします。
Shoji Higuchi had pushed me into working at the dining hall here. Not the watering hole, but dining hall. He'd strongly emphasized that it wasn't under his control. That was why it had been decided I'd meet Kaori-san. She had an oval, composed, slightly haggard face, and I couldn't see a hint of the demon from before. Apparently, if it was for their children, some parents could become both demons and angels.
Apparently.
I kind of felt like that applied to the entire history of mankind, for better or for worse.
きちんとされてるのね。お若いのに。
いえ、落ちこぼれですから。
Yeah! I'm a failure.
まあ、そん
Screen
な。
capped?
でも本当にいいのかしら。こんなね。
いいんです。いろんな人に言われますけど、いいところじゃないですか。
そう。でも聞いたかわからないけれど、食堂といっても炊き出し係みたいなものだから。その言いにくいのだけど、お給金とかは食事はもちろん出せるのだけれど。
構わないですよ。お金がなくても素朴に生きていければそれで。
まあ。
はっ、じじいかよ。
Suddenly, Yoshitsugu Oribe-kun walked through the door, displaying the same recklessness that had probably gotten him killed last time.
吉次、あんた学校はどうしたの？
うるせえ、行かねえっつってんだろ。おい死に損ない野郎、死に損なってここに来たそうじゃねえか。ダッセーな。
Heard you came here because you couldn't die.
吉次、あんたなんてことを。
Oh, word spread fast around here. They'd called and told Kaori-san about it, then she told it to several other people, and it probably leaked.
本当だ、僕だっせ
Ha!
は？頭おかしいのかてめえ。
Nope.
否定できねえ、僕ばっか。
おいババア、こんなやつ雇うんじゃねえよ。店めちゃくちゃになんぞ。
学校も行かない、手伝いもしないあんたが何を言うの？
Yeah.
うるせえ。
Yeah, you tell him.
おいバカてめえ茶髪野郎、おめえ本当に死にに来たのかよ。
Wow.
とかじゃねえんだろうな。
I twitched.
ははは、そんなわけないじゃないか。ははは。
おいババア、
Oh my god.
こいつ超怪しいぞ。
私はババアなんて名前じゃありません。
あはは、はははは。
What the fuck,
あ
Haruaki?
の外野から悪いんだけど、妻子くん悪ふざけはほどほどにね。
ははははは。すみません。だけどまあ、皆さんとは長い付き合いになりそうですから、親しくはしたいですね。吉次くんっていうのかい？じゃあ一つ賭けをしようか。
I'll bet I outlive you.
あ？なんだよ腰抜けがよ。
ね。
I looked into my large bag and took something out. Specifically, a new pocket knife.
これで僕の小指を切り落としてごらん。
Whoa, what? Everyone instantly fell silent. I ignored them and continued.
ほら、手をこうしておくからさ。ナイフは、はい、そこに置くね。
Haruaki?
何言ってんだてめえ。
お近づきの印に指詰めさせてあげるって言ってるの。
おかしいだろっつうの。つうか、そんなん普通自分でやるもんだろ。そうだ、自分でできねえからそうやってやらせようってんだ。やっぱ腰抜けじゃねえか。あ？
自分でしてもいいんだけど、これは賭けであり、度胸試しだからね。僕を腰抜け呼ばわりした君も、度胸を示すべきだろ。君がナイフを振り下ろせれば君の勝ち。逃げなければ僕の勝ち。つまり、見事君が僕の指を切り落とせれば、二人とも勝ちだ。そうなったら晴れて友達になろうじゃないか。ね、吉次くん。
Haruaki, you're a fucking weirdo.
I know, right? I smiled and pointed at the knife on the table with my finger.
何バカなこと言ってんだ。頭おかしいんじゃねえの。
This should be the weirdest way to die.
さっきからそれしか言ってないね。だから、おかしいんだよ。頭が。君は、まともな人間の方がいいの。
Haruaki, this is your first impression with these
そんな格
people.
好で、お母さんに当たり散らしておいて。僕はおかしな人間の方が好きさ。見せてくれよ。君のイカれてるところを。はははは。
Man, this was just too much fun. Yoshitsugu-kun looked right about ready to shit his pants. But it was time to back
なんちゃっ
off.
て。
Oh my god, I hoped he would just stab him.
That would have been pretty good.
What a shame, huh,
嘘
Yoshitsuru-kun?
嘘。そんな痛いことやんないよ。まあ、急には無理でも、じきに仲良くしてくれたら
By
嬉
your
しいな。
definition, you just
よろし
proved
く。
you were a coward.
てめえ、気使ったつもりか。
Jokes aside, he was actually pretty sharp. He and his brother were nothing alike, but it wouldn't have been surprising if he also had a talent for seeing through people. He had Higuchi blood in his veins, after all. Perhaps it was genetic. He left without saying another word. Kaori-san didn't even tell him to go to school.
すみません。変なことをしちゃいました。
あ、いえ、うちのバカ息子がとんだ失礼を。でもちょっとびっくりしたわ。胆力が終わりなのね。
そんなことないですよ。賭けを放棄したので僕の負け。多分追い詰めたら彼はやってみせたでしょうからね。
After all, he was the type who'd pick a fight with something inhuman and die.
でも、お
Yeah,
母さんの
that's a
前
very
で
good
気を見
point.
せるのは
Yes.
ためらったんでしょう。きっと、根はいい子なんですよね、彼は。
My words almost made Kaori-san smile, but
いえ、ほんとお恥ずかしい限りで。体ばかり大きくなって、私などはもう口出しくらいしかでき
I
な
need
く
a
て
big, strong man to help me put him in place. Where's Takumi?
Mm-hmm.
She decided to keep up the act of the strict mother. Puberty and rebellion sure seemed complicated.
久石君、ちょっと
I did just that.
あなた、もしかしてあっち系の人間？追っ手がかかって逃げてきたとか、捕まったら消すとか？
I love her.
いや、違いますよ。指爪は適当に言っただけです。その手の事情で皆さんに
I
迷
won't
惑
trouble
か
the
けるこ
people
とは
here.
な
I
いです。
say as I proceed to trouble the people here.
ならいいけど。
She was actually suspicious. I had to act out a better normal person. This wasn't the time to mess around.
とにかく雑用でも何でもしますので、使ってやっていただければと。
Oh, baby.
え
Oh
え、
baby.
それは構いませんよ。どのみち上の方の決めたことなのだし。ただ、住むところをどうしようかしらね。
Oh, I'd kind of expected them to already decided on that.
じゃあ、挨拶がてら行ってきますよ。誰に頼むのがいいですかね。
基本的に土地のお話は山脇さんのところかしら。
さっきのおばあさんよ。車で通った一軒家に住んでらっしゃるわ。
Oh yeah, when Takumi-san gave me the key to my dorm room, he told me he got it from the old lady. Was she like the landlord of
そ
Yasuimizu?
の辺にいらっしゃらないかな。植松さんのお見舞いとかで。
あら、植松さんどうかされたの？
さっき転んで頭を打って。
She ate shit while trying to look cool.
Mm-hmm.
I left that talk to Mamiya-san and opened the door so I could see the plaza. By the time I realized that someone else was on the other side, it was fully open. Seeing the person's face almost made me say her name in surprise. Chiemi Serizawa. I couldn't save her. I couldn't fulfill my promise. But we met again thanks to the strange looping phenomenon. Whether it was something to feel thankful about was another matter.
はじめまして。
I kept my surge of emotions under control and gave an amicable smile. But just as she made that simple sound, a lone tear ran down her cheek. Whoa, wait, what? Does she remember?
I think she remembers.
あら、目にゴミ入った？
Her voice was calm. But the first tear made way for many more, and they were soon streaming from both eyes.
なんだこれ。香織さん、ごめんなさい。ちょっと手拭いかなんかもらえます？
Her reaction didn't seem to be anything more than confusion at her body going out of control.